Hello, and thank you for joining us once again. We're in the studio at the historic Calvary Baptist Church in Paterson, New Jersey, here for a session of conversations with all the candidates running in the May 10th Paterson mayoral election. And I want to remind everybody, the most important thing, no matter who you support, is to get out and vote, to make sure your neighbors vote, that all the residents of Paterson here have their voice heard, because the decision being made on May 10th is too important. Joining me this time is our former 2nd Ward Councilman, Aslan Goow, running for mayor. Thank you so much, Councilman, for joining us. You were councilman for over 12 years, council president, 16-year officer, retired as a sergeant in law enforcement, currently a private detective. We thank you for joining us here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to start off just by asking you, you've run for mayor before. You're back here. You're back in the race again for mayor, trying to take down the incumbent Andre Sayer. What one word defines you, just you, or what defines you in terms of your political rise and where you stand right now?
With one word?
One word or one phrase, whatever. Just a short answer. What really defines you?
I think my maturity as a leader is what's defining me in this election.
Okay, well that sums it up right there.
That's 3 words.
Now, maturity is the word we're going to take from there, and I appreciate it. And that's one of the charges you've leveled against the mayor. He has come out trying to take you off the ballot. I think it's pretty obvious that allies of his try to take you to court, arguing that you were not a resident of Paterson any longer. You prevailed in court. You want to just tell us, how that turned out and your perspective on that?
Well, it turned out very well, actually. I'm born and raised in the city of Paterson. Whether I chose to stay some other location for 2 weeks or longer did not discredit my position to say that I don't live in the city of Paterson. And that's what happened. The mayor, along with some friends of his, for some unknown reason, whatever prompted them to do what they did, in my opinion, was politically motivated and to cause a distraction. And fortunate for me, it did not go very long. The case was heard, and in 3.5 hours, the judge agreed that there was no evidence to indicate or prove that I did not live in the city of Paterson.
Right. So now you're on the ballot for sure.
On the ballot.
So I want to ask you, you've clearly come out strongly against the incumbent, Andre Sayer, former council colleague of yours. What's the number one thing that you think he has fallen short for the people of Paterson?
Well, there are several, unfortunately, but crime is a very, very big issue right now. Paterson has become extremely dangerous. It's not safe. It's 4 years later, and now he's talking about addressing crime. Now he's talking about putting police officers on. 4 years later, where have you been? Innocent people have been shot and killed. Stray bullets flying around in the city of Paterson. That's unheard of. We've never had that. And the last 2 years are indicative of what everybody is saying as far as the crime is in the city of Paterson. So, it's my number one issue to make Paterson safe.
Well, you led perfectly into my next question, which is, what's your plan? If you're elected mayor for the next 4 years, what's your plan to bring the crime rate down?
I truly have an amazing plan. And this is a plan that I proposed in 2000 when I first became a councilman. Very simple, because I was part of a program that what happened is in the state of New Jersey, the Jersey Shore needed a lot of police officers. And they couldn't afford the amount of cops they needed because it was a seasonal issue. So they created the position of a Class 2 police officer. And when they did that, during the summer, they would be able to hire thousands of police officers because of the hundreds of thousands of people that would attend the Jersey Shore. So along with that, the local municipalities benefited from this. And they allowed the local towns to put on 20 or 25% of their department size as Class 2 police officers, which are fully trained, fully certified, and they are residents of that community. And that's a big issue. We want our cops to live in town. So the great benefit for Paterson would be, in addition to hiring full-time regular police officers, that we recruit from within our city, Class 2 officers, fully trained through the police academy, full police power, citizens of Paterson, and we could put on as many as 100 of them. They would be all part of a walking detail, a bicycle detail, and the purpose of that is...
Would they be part-time or full-time?
They will all be part-time, but they could work up to 32 hours. So imagine now having 100 police officers walking on our streets. that would have a tremendous impact
Sure.
on the quality of
Well, the
life.
presence would be there. You
Right.
have a bigger presence.
And this is something that I've been proposing since, like I said, in 2000, it's 22 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm still advocating for that.
Okay.
And I think that would be tremendous.
Well, let me change to another issue because we could talk about crime for a long time.
Sure.
But another issue that residents talk about constantly in Patterson is sanitation and cleanliness, and the streets. And what would your plan be 4 years to get Patterson in a better, cleaner state? Because I see a lot of neighborhoods where one person is really trying their hardest to maintain their homestead. Meanwhile, you have a derelict property next door, and then you got a business owner who's not following any of the rules, leaving trash on the street, and basically the homeowners are left without much of a without any benefit. What would you do for homeowners like that?
So again, that's an enforcement issue.
Yeah.
We don't have the resources as far as the inspectors that should be walking on our streets, just like the presence of police officers. It works hand in hand.
All right.
But I have a plan
Yeah.
for Department of Public Works.
Okay.
We have a big problem there. If we can't even keep our own house clean, how are we going to keep the public clean?
Right.
So we need a major anti-litter campaign. It has to start with education. It's got to start in school.
Yeah.
We need to start there because the filth is not coming from the workers. It's coming from the community.
Right.
And we need to educate them on how to be clean. And the other thing is, when you're walking on the street and you see it's clean and you have something in your hand,
Right.
you have some reservations about just discarding that product, whatever it may
Right.
be. But because Patterson streets are so filthy right now, and nobody's enforcing, this behavior.
Sure.
Everybody's just
You
contributing.
feel
to it.
right. So it's a culture of
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's gotten worse. So we have a plan. So far a lot of people have plagiarized me. Okay, they're all talking about what I'm talking about, and I've been saying this for the longest time. But I do have a tremendous plan right now for the Department of Public Works
Sure.
that I want to save until I become your mayor, so I can implement this.
All right. Well, let me ask you. Final issue I'm going to ask you about, which relates to crime and to your plan for the DPW. You're talking about hiring more employees, bringing more presence on there. How do you balance that with the need to control property taxes? You're a homeowner in Patterson. I'm a homeowner in Patterson. We all worry about the property tax bill that we've gotten over the years. It's obviously gone up. How do you control that while adding spending to other areas that you're talking about that need investment?
So far, everything that I have talked about, those resources are already here. I'm not looking to really hire more people to strain our budget, but I found the areas where we can shift those monies to get the best out of our dollar. As a homeowner, property owner in Patterson, like many of us are, Marty Barnes was one of the first mayors during his time who stabilized the taxes.
Right.
We have a lot of collective bargaining units,
Right.
Contractual raises that come every year and so on. We're going to have to do better in negotiating. Okay, that's the first step, and we're going to have to do with what we have. Now, just recently they talked about our budget requests got lowered because we were doing so well. I would have took every dollar, whether we're doing well or not,
Right.
to benefit the city. And now we have a tremendous amount of money for the COVID relief for the city.
Right.
I'm sure that could play a major role in benefiting the taxpayers. They're saying that you can't utilize it to give it back. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
But we need to stabilize at minimum, and then we could talk about what the future will bring.
All right. Let me ask you, in your public history as a public official, or even as a private citizen, what's the accomplishment, the thing that you did that you're most proud of?
Well, there's a lot of things that I did, but my presence, I created accountability through presence. I was not the mayor in 2000. I was an elected official as a councilman. I passed legislation. I've done things. I've applied for grants. I brought $6 million back from the state of New Jersey after we lost a significant amount of money for our budget. Listen, I can pat myself on the back all day long with what I've done, and in hopes that will resonate with the people today who remember me in the second ward for the things that I did do, because I was a hands-on person. Yeah. And I think that's going to be the key to this election.
And let me ask you, alternatively, what's the thing that you didn't get done that's still on your list that wasn't accomplished, that really gnaws at you, the thing that you want to get done?
Well, The only thing that I want to get done is become the mayor of Patterson.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason for that is because if I was able to do what I did
Yeah.
as a councilman, as
Yeah.
an elected official,
Yeah.
can you imagine what I can do as a mayor?
Okay.
Because it's the mayor that's ultimately responsible for the safety, the cleanliness of the city, balancing, the taxes, restoring our parks. Our parks have been so neglected.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that the chief executive of this city should be focusing on, and that will be the position of the mayor for me.
Okay, we're going to end on a fun note. As a Pattersonian, what's the experience? It can be a food, it can be a restaurant, it could be music, it could be whatever, a place. What's the thing that to you signifies a quintessential Patterson experience for you?
Being born and raised here.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love my city.
Yeah.
And I want to do what needs to be done to move this city forward in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Councilman.
you.
Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
And
I
thank you
appreciate
all. Thank you all for watching another session. Again, I will remind everybody: May 10th is the election, and it's important that you get every voter out, not just yourself, not just every member of your family, but your neighbors and other community members, and encourage them to show up on May 10th because the decision is far too important to leave to others. Patterson's future is at stake. Thank you again. We look forward to joining you.